Erev Tov to everybody. We're in Parashat Shmini. First time, I think, that we discuss not Beit HaMikdash and not Amalek, but discussing the Korbanot, the third parsha of Sefer Vayikra. And
I had to discuss the army.
pardon?
I thought you were discussing the army.
No. I said maybe on Shabbat. On Shabbat, maybe we'll discuss the army, going through the army.
Miluyim. The Miluyim.
The Miluyim. Okay, yeah. We said yesterday that maybe we'll speak about it on Shabbat. I'm not sure that I'll do it, but okay. Bezat Hashem. Okay. So we have the Parashat Miluyim, and let me do it again here. Now I'll do it, share. Okay, we have the שמונת ימי המילואים, and it's a very interesting question. You have וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, קח את הארון ואת בניו איתו, ואת הבגדים ואת שמן המשחה, ואת פר החטאת ואת שני האלים, ואת סל המצות. So just to you all know about it, but just to pinpoint where we are. קבלת התורה was on פרשת יתרו and משפטים, then we had חטא העגל on כי תישא, and then we have all the construction of the משכן, תרומה, תצווה ויקל פקודי. And at the end of פרשת פקודי we almost established the משכן, but Moshe couldn't make it because it was full of fog, of ערפל or whatever, or עשן, smoke. And therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu called him and told him that in the Mishkan you have a series of korbanot. You have Olah, you have Chatat, you have Mincha, you have Shlamim, and we saw them all in Parashat Vayikra. We didn't see it then, but you know. Last week, we spoke about the difference between Parashat Tzav and Parashat Vayikra. And as you know, in Perek Aleph till Perek Dalet, you have four kinds of korbanos, whereas in the Parashat Tzav, we have the same korbanos in a different seder, okay? It's a little bit different. Okay, now we stopped and we come again to the 8th day of the Miluyim, meaning to say the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the Hashrat Shechina, and we'll speak about this day in so many parashot. We spoke on Kudei, we spoke on Vayikra a little bit about Vayikra el Moshe, when it was. It was on the first day of Nisan. We're speaking on Shmini with the Bnei Aaron issue, and we'll speak about in Nassau with a long story of what every tribes had brought, and maybe throughout Sefer Vayikra a little bit more. But we have to ask a question. Now that we see וידבר השם אל משה לאמור קח את אהרון ואת בניו איתו, you go back to Sefer Shmot, פרשת תצווה, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe to do as follows. קח את הארון, וזה הדבר אשר תעשה להם לקדש אותם לכהן לי. If you want to coronate or to sanctify, that's better, the כהנים, what should you do? לקח פר אחד בן בקר, that's a korban. It's the first time that they are they become כהנים. ולחם מצות וחלות מצות פלוט לו שמן, דרכיקי מצות לא שכם בשמן, ונתת אותם והקרבת בסל את הפר ואת שני האלים. ואת אהרון ואת בניו תקריב אל פתח אוהל מועד, ורחצת אותם במים. You'll wash them and you'll dress them, ולקחת את הבגדים והלבשת את הארון את הכותון ואת מעיל האפוד ואת האפוד ואת החושן, שמת מצנפת על ראשו וכולי וכולי, ולקחת את שמן המשחה ויצקת על ראשו ומשכת אותו, ואת בניו תקריב והלבשתם כותונות. So that's the sanctification of בני אהרון and Aaron. They'll be, from now on, they'll be כהנים. As we said last week, what does Kedusha means? How can you make something in Kodesh? Why the place in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu התגלה למשה רבינו in the snare, why was it Kodesh? של נעליך מעל רגליך, כי המקום אשר אתה עומד עליו אדמת קודש הוא, because the land belonged to the world, to us, to Moshe, to everybody that walked there, and for the time of Ashrat Shechina, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed himself there, for that time, nobody was permitted to touch or to step on the ground, meaning to say that it was far-fetched, it was taken from our world, from the Olam Hazeh, and it was taken to the upper, holier world of Olam of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nobody can use it, it's Kodesh, and afterwards, it might be non-Kadosh as well, like Har Sinai, that after the Kedusha of Har Sinai, במשוך היובל הם יעלו בהר. You might step on it, no problem. So here, if you sanctify the Kohanim, you have three parts or three steps in any sanctification, in any Akdasha, in any making Kedusha. First of all, you take them from a world or a place that belongs to the commons, belongs to the world. Like you take the place on which Moshe stepped on in front of the snare, and you take it from our possession, from our world of things that we use. Later, you sanctify it by making it into a Kodesh, nobody touches it, and then it becomes to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You take the Mishkan, you bring the material, you bring the money, you bring the silver, the zahav, the nechoshet, the copper, everything. You take it from Am Yisrael, you say that it belongs to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and from then on, it's not yours anymore, it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So the same thing happens here. We take the Kohanim, we make them into a Kadosh Baruch Hu's possession, okay? And then they belong to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So let's see what they need. They need washing, they need dressing, they need oil, and then they need korbanot. ולקחת מדם הפר. אוקיי. ושחטת את העיל וכולי וכולי, ולקחת מן הדם אשר למזבח ומשמן המשחה, והזית על אהרון ועל בגדיו ועל בגדי בניו איתו. Once he is washed and dressed, you take from the shachet korban and throw on it, and then with the oil, and then he becomes kodesh, okay? ושמת הכל, and then ולקחת אותם וכולי וכולי. והייתה לאהרון ולבניו לחוק עולם, and then it becomes kodesh. Okay. So that's the parsha of Shmot Kaftet. Now go back to Vayikra, where we are. Okay, Vayikra Perek Chet. It seems like the fulfillment of all we have learned there. קח את הארון ואת בניו איתו, ואת הבגדים, ואת שמן המשחה, ואת פר החטאת ואת שני האלים ואת סל המצות. But we see some differences, because we see, ואת כל העדה הקהל אל פתח אוהל מועד. We never saw in Shmot Kaftet that we have to take Am Yisrael, and they have anything to do at all. And לכאורה it seems as if here you have just the fulfillment of all HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordered in Parashat Tetzaveh, how to sanctify Bnei Aaron. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells again, I'll just show you another source, and we won't do it at length. The last perek of Sefer Shmot, we have again, כן? וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, ביום החודש הראשון באחד לחודש תקים את משכן אוהל מועד, that's א' בניסן, ואז you bring all the components, all the חלקים of the משכן, and then ומשכת את המזבח, והקרבת את הארון ואת בניו ואת פתח אוהל מועד, ורחצת אותם במים, והלבשת את הארון על בגדי הקודש, so you dress them, and משכת אותם with oil, ותקריב קורבנות, okay? So you have here זה ציווי. Again, you had it once in פרשת תצווה שמות כ"ח, שמות כ"ט, and you have it again in פרשת פקודי, in short, in שמות פרק מ'. Now you have the fulfillment in פרשת ויקרא. But if you look, you have to ask yourself, why is it למעשה that the whole parasha of the Miluyim is spread out in this way, that it's written all over 3 parashot, Tetzaveh, Kudei, and Shmini. And here in Parashat Shmini, you have to ask yourself, is it a conclusion or summing up all the parasha of the Korbanot that we saw in Parashat Vayikra and Tzav, and the Korban of the Miluyim is a part of it? In other words, it's a part of the Korbanot. The Torah waited till the beginning of Sefer Vayikra to tell you about the Korbanot. The Torah gave you the order of 4 Korbanot in Parashat Vayikra, gave you another order of the same 4 Korbanot in Parashat Tzav, and now the Torah concludes with the Shmonat Yemei Miluyim, because Shmonat Yemei Miluyim dealing with Korbanot, so it's the same thing, and we just sum up with the same conclusion of the topic of Korbanot. Okay? From now on, we'll have just Tazria, Metzora, different types of various events in which you have to bring a special korban, or Nazir, or Sota, I don't know. But the main korbanot, Ola, Chatat, Mincha, Shlamim, are all mentioned in Vayikra Tzav, and now we conclude with the story of the Shmonat Yemei Miluyim. That's one option. But another option should be that there is no linkage at all between Shmonat Yemei Miluyim and Parashat Tzav and Vayikra. Parashat Tzav and Vayikra deal with the 4 korbanot, and they have the details how to make Shlomim, how to make Olah, how to make Mincha. Once you come again to the story of Tetzaveh, of Pkudei, how to establish, to erect the Mishkan, so then you have the Parashat Miluyim, and it's totally different. And if you look well in the parasha, you might think that it's totally different. Why? You have here using of different verbs in order to describe the avoida of the Miluyim. ויקרב משה את בני אהרון וילבישם כותונות, ויגש את פר החטאת. Okay? In parashot Vayikra and Tzav, we don't have time, but just believe me or look there later, you'll see that we have a lot of times ויקרב, ויקרב, ויקרב. אדם כי יקריב מכם, ויקרב את קורבנם וישחטהו, כן? ויקרב. Here we have several times ויגש. It's not a big question, because there you might speak about the person, the bailing, the owner of the korban, and he himself has to be makriv, or has to take care that it's been mukrab. Okay? But here is just Moshe. Moshe was the composer or the manager of the days, the 8 days, and therefore he was not makriv himself, because he just was a go-between. He was just a metavech between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Yisrael, and therefore some things came to him, ויקרב משה את בני אהרון, ויגש אליהם את פר החטאת. Okay, so that might be different. But if you look carefully, וישחט, it's פר חטאת, נכון? We know from parashot ויקרא and Tzav about חטאת. אדם כי יקריב מכם, ואם חטאת, we have the dinim of חטאת. And we never find the, usually with חטאת, what do we do? Let's go and see, where is it? In parashat ויקרא. Okay, so let's start. We have אם עולה קורבנו, ואם ינאוף קורבנו, and then we have נפש כי תחטא בשגגה. Okay, so we have A, if it's a Kohen HaMashiach, if it's the leader of the nation, and he sinned, והקריב על חטאתו אשר חטא פר בן בקר תמים להשם לחטאת. What is he doing with the par? He brings it אל פתח אוהל מועד לפני השם, סמך ידו ושחט, ולקח הכהן המשיח מדם הפר, he takes from its blood, והביא אותו אל אוהל מועד, וטבל אצבעו בדם, והיזה מן הדם 7 פעמים לפני השם את פני פרוכת הקודש, okay? So he is מזה on the פרוכת. It's not like on Yom Kippur that he does it 7 times in Kodesh HaKodoshim and 7 times outside. He just does outside 7 times on the parochet, on the outer parochet of that is choitzet between the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKodoshim. And later on, the rest of the דם, ונתן הכהן מן הדם על קרנות מזבח קטורת הסמים, ואת כל הדם ישפוך אל יסוד מזבח העולה אשר פתח אוהל מועד. So he has 3 steps. 1, 7 times on the parochet. 2, to put on mizbach haktoret in the kodesh, and 3, to pour or spill the rest outside on mizbach haolam, mizbach hanechoshet. Okay, then he brings the korban, והוציא את כל הפר אל מחוץ למחנה, ושרף אותו. Very nice. Now, who brings the korban chatat here? והגש את פר החטאת, to whom? To Aaron, or to בני Aaron. Okay? They are the leaders. Rashi many times writes in our parsha as well, that Aaron was a leader and the par chatat came to be mechaper on chet ha'egel. Okay? So it's par chatat shel Kohen Mashiach. Okay? So we know the details what you should do with par chatat of Kohen Mashiach. If it's a new din, so tell me, give me a title, what it is. But if it's not a new din, it's built on what we know from Parashat Vayikra and Tzav. So we know the dinim of Korban Chatat. Korban Chatat that is brought by Kohen Mashiach should be mukrav to, should be nishchad, and then you throw mazeh et adam on the parochet, and then you throw it on mizbach hazahav, and then you throw the rest of it outside. But here it's something very different. Vayishchat, vayikach Moshe et adam, let's say that Moshe is a Kohen, okay, vayiten al karnot hamizbech saviv be'etzba'o. What about throwing on the parochet? ויחטא את המזבח, ואת הדם יצק על יסוד המזבח, ויקדשהו לכפר עליו. He doesn't do anything that we know, like par of Kohen Mashiach. So as I said, it's either a special kind of par, maybe a one-day par that was destined just to that day of Chanukat HaMizbeach. Okay, so you have to tell me. But then it has no relation to the korbanot of Parashat Vayikra and Tzav. So why is it located just here? So then you come like the second day aside that I brought, this that it doesn't, it's not related at all to Parashot Vayikra and Tzav. Or that you might say that even though that it's so different, it's somehow kashur to Parashot Vayikra and Tzav, and there we know about Chatat, and you have a repetition of Chatat in Parashat Tzav. So the Torah sums up and says that in Parashat Yemei Miluyim, we have somehow another Chatat. Okay, and therefore we understand why in Parashat Shmini, the third parasha of Sefer Vayikra, we find the Shivat Yemei Miluyim. So it's not just a local kesher that we saw korbanot in Parashat Tzav and Vayikra, and we see it again in Parashat Shmini. No, we saw Chatat, and we have the same Chatat functioning at the first day of Akamat HaMishkan. But according to the second side that I brought before, there is no linkage between what we know about in Parashot Vayikra and Tzav and what we do in Shmonat Yemei HaMiluyim. It's just location, we have to understand why. So that's a big question that you should ask yourself if it's part of the korbanot, what we have in Shabbat Miluyim, or that is a special event. When was the 8th day of the Miluyim? You all know from Rashi, from Chazal, all over, that the 8th day was on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, right? The first famous Gemara in Megillah, in other places, 10 atarot natal oto hayom. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is a special day. You know, we have now to say we start preparation for Pesach. We have החודש הזה לכם. It's a first Chodesh. We have Birkat HaIlanot. All the things that we have nowadays, but in that time, it was the first time, according to Chazal, the world was created on Nisan 1st, not Rosh Hashanah as we celebrate on Tishrei 1st, but according to Chazal, the De'ah of Rabbi Yoshua that was Nifsak La'alacha, is that the world was created on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and it was the first day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, "HaChodesh hazeh lachem," it's the 10th day, takes the Korban Pesach, and it's the 15th, you go out of Mitzrayim. Okay, and it was first for the Nisim, it was first for Aaron to function as a Kohen, and for many other missions. And you all know that Rosh Chodesh Nisan was a big day, and there was a big hole in the day because the two of Aharon's sons died. But you know that Ibn Ezra, that's one thing beautiful with Ibn Ezra, that when he decides something, he's choilek on everybody. He doesn't care at all. And as I said yesterday in the Shiur, if you listen to, I spoke about Rashi and Rashba. So Rashi's shita is mamash to take Chazal as the base, as the baseline that all you know. He doesn't know what the Torah says, just by Chazal. He looks in Tanchuma, he looks in Midrash Rabbah, he looks in Masechet Megillah, and then he knows what happened. So if Chazal said it was the first day of, it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan, it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and the Shivat Yemei Miluyim were before. So they started at the end of Chodesh Adar, Kaf Dalet, Kaf Hei, Kaf Vav, Kaf Zayin, Kaf Chet, Kaf Tet, okay? Kaf Gimel, Kaf Dalet, 7 days. The 8th day was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That's Rashi. And I said yesterday that Rashbam starts to, his grandson, Rashi's grandson, starts to be doubtful about it and to differentiate between the Pshat and the Midrash. So according to Rashbam, he knows that Chazal said it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan, but sometimes he might say that no, it wasn't Rosh Chodesh. According to the Pshat, it wasn't Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Ibn Ezra goes step further. He says, I think that according to the Pshat, it was just 8th of Nisan. And according to Ibn Ezra, he doesn't care what Chazal said. He doesn't give, a softening. Chazal said X, but I'm sorry, according to the Pshat, it's Y. No, he said it's Y. Why is it? Because he looks in all the parshas that we saw, Shmot Kaftet and Shmot Mem and Vayikra Chet, look, it's not our topic, but if you read it, we always talk about the first day of Rosh Chodesh, and we talk about it not like the 8th day, but it's the first day. So, says Ibn Ezra, they started with Shivat Yemei Miluyim from Rosh Chodesh Nisan till the 7th, and the 8th day of Nisan was the day that the Mishkan was erected, and from then on the Nisim, bringing their Korban, the 12 Korbanot that we read every day on Chanukah, they brought it on Parashat Naso, they brought it from the 8th, that was the day in which Aaron died, and they brought it day by day till 19th. okay, till 19, י"ט בניסן, meaning to say that some of the shvatim brought their korban on Pesach, according to Ibn Ezra. And according to Ibn Ezra, if you look well in the Pshat, and if you look in the Mechiltos, there is a support to the Ibn Ezra. The Pshat sounds like him. If it's very difficult. You have to take yourself from Rashi and listen to Ibn Ezra and then go back to him. Sorry, somebody asks me?
Yeah, I was thinking that like the first in Nisan was the day they erected the Mishkan. Moshe goes in, that starts the Miluyim, and then Nachshon comes on the first in Nisan. So Moshe acts as the Kohen for the first 7 Nisim. It's only on the 8th Nasi that Aaron is the Kohen.
No, but you try to combine between the Nisim and the Shivat Yimei Miluyim, but it's two parshiyot. It's two different people. You want to say that it doesn't make a lot of sense, because according to you, the 7 days, the first day, according to Chazal, the Mishkan wasn't established, the Mishkan didn't function, and even though 7 of the Nisim brought their korban, why to say that? It's possible.
No, it says in Parshat Naso, Biyom Hakim et HaMishkan, which was Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
No,
and that's when
it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Who said that?
In Parshat Pekudei.
What's written in Parashat Kudei? Let's go back to Parashat Kudei.
B'chodesh harishon, b'echad l'chodesh hukam HaMishkan.
But הוקם ביום החודש הראשון באחד לחודש תקים את משכן, meaning to say that it was the celebration and the opening of it, or maybe according to the Ibn Ezra, it's the first time that they give you permission to bring, to try to open it, to try to erect it, etc. And it took them 7 days. Okay? It's not clear. You're used to Rashi and to most of Chazal that said that the Yom HaChodesh HaRishon is a conclusion of all the 8 days, and if you intertwine all the sources, so you go that all the 7 days started from Adar, and that's a pshat according to you. B'Yom HaChodesh HaRishon takim taki. But according to Ibn Ezra, takim doesn't mean takim lemaise, to start founding it, start erecting it, okay? And if it didn't succeed, so it didn't succeed. And if you take Chazal, that 7 days Moshe tried and couldn't make it, so he couldn't make it from it was a mistake, okay? So, okay. הוקם המשכן, כן? Here you have the posuk that you looked for. ויהי בחודש השני הראשון, בשנה השנית באחד לחודש הוקם המשכן, okay? So it doesn't mean that the first try succeeded, okay? Maybe, according to Ibn Ezra, 7 days they played with it, and just the 8th day it succeeded. In any case...
The first day it succeeded, just that Aaron wasn't the Kohen. Moshe was the Kohen. Hashem calls Moshe on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or Moshe.
Okay, yeah. Now I understand. So again, you try to combine the Nisim of Parashat Naso, that starting from 1st of Rosh Chodesh, and to say that the only difference between the 7 days and the 5 days following it were whether Moshe or Aharon started, okay? I don't think it goes together, because there must be, maybe in our parasha, a pasuk that says that just after Aaron blessed and the Esh Yarda, okay, that you must say that even according to you, it's on Chet Benisan, then the Mishkan started functioning. But you try to pass it over, right? In order to say that the Mishkan started functioning from the first day. Maybe it's possible. I have to look. Okay, so it's another option to say to not to say like Ibn Ezra, but not to say like Chazal, to try to combine them both. To say that Ibn Ezra is right, whether that Aharon started from the 8th day, and Chazal are right from the first day. Okay, I have to look at it. Okay, לא משנה. I wanted just to bring Ibn Ezra, not to mention his shita, which is very interesting, but to show you that how do you say it in English? You hit a lot around the bush, but you beat around the bush. Okay, but you don't have the bush. I mean, you dance and dance and dance against around the first day of the Mishkan, but it's not clear in anywhere of the places that it was a set date. Okay, Ibn Ezra could say what he wanted to say, that it wasn't Rosh Chodesh Nisan, but it was 8th of Nisan. Moreover, more than that, if you look well, it's not clear what you should do all the 7 days without Rashi, without Chazal. I'll ask you a question. Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron bringing a lot of korbanot. Did they bring it just the first day? Okay, Aaron got washed and got rest, and he threw all the blood on his תנוך אוזן אהרון הימנית, ועל בוין ידו הימנית, etc. And 7 days, he didn't do anything. What did he do? Just waited. Like Chazal said, coming back to the coronation of Moshe, into his nevuah, into his shlichut, in the sneh, Chazal said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke with him 7 days. Okay, because when he argues, so he says, גם אתמול, גם שלשום, גם מאז דברך אל עבדיך. So Chazal said in the Midrash, it's I think in the Midrash on our parsha, actually. So אתמול, שלשום, דברך אל עבדיך, with the 3 gams, 6 days, 7 days he was arguing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe was very nudging, according to the Midrash, but the Midrash wants to say that coronation, Kedusha, sanctifying a person, takes 7 days. He has to be like, we have the same pattern in Har Sinai, נכון? From the ויקרא אל משה ביום השביעי, at the end of פרשת משפטים, הקדוש ברוך הוא just calls him after 7 days, because משה רבנו can listen to עשרת הדיברות, to מעמד הר סיני, but if he wants to get the Torah, he has to sanctify himself, he has to be מפקיע עצמו, to be forfetched from עולם הזה, to sanctify himself 7 days, to be ready for השראת שכינה, and then to come, and then to be in הקדוש ברוך hu's realm in the 40 days, 33 days more. Okay, so the same thing happens here. I don't know, it's not clear from the parasha. Did Moshe made the same ceremony each and every 7 days, that he took Aaron, he washed him, he dressed him, and he threw on him blood from the same 7 multiple times that he brought korbanot, and maybe at the every night Aaron could wash himself from the blood, I don't know, and the day after he got another blood of a korban on his תנוך האוזן, I don't know, or that it was one time. It's not clear. קח את הארון ואת כל העדה. How many times? So again, if you look at Parashat Shmot, you might think that it was done 7 times. Why? Because at the end, it's written like this. Okay, והיה לאהרון ולבניו לחוק עולם. לחוק עולם, meaning one time and wait 7 days, or meaning 7 times that you do. So go to פסוק למד, 7 ימים ילבשם הכהן תחתיו מבניו, אשר יבוא אלו על מועד לשרת בקודש. So here you have an explicit posuk saying that you have to wear 7 days. Okay, so I know that the 7 days, the repetition of 7 times is for the dressing. Is it for the korbanot as well? The pasuk was ma'alim, was neglecting this fact, and it's very chashuv fact, because we spoke like 20 psukim about the korbanos. How do you do it? What do you do with the blood? But the pasuk doesn't say whether it's 1 time show or 7 times show. The pasuk just says that dress Aharon 7 times. If you go to
pasuk lamed hey, pasuk lamed hey.
ועשית לאהרון ולבניו ככה, exactly, okay? 7 ימים תמלא ידם. What does it mean, 7 ימים תמלא ידם? Should you do exactly, you understand, ככה, exactly as I did, you do it multiple days, 7 multiple times, okay? But I might read the posuk, ועשית לאהרון ולבניו ככה, ככל אשר ציוויתי אותך, period, do exactly as I told you, 7 ימים, they'll have to wait in order to be למלא ידם, okay? בסדר? לא ברור. Not clear. Even פסוק למד זין not clear. ופר חטאת תעשה ליום על הכיפורים וחיטטך את המזבח, 7 ימים תכפר על המזבח וקידשת אותו. By doing it 7 times or by waiting 7 days, I don't know. Not clear. Everything here is not clear. If you go to Parashat Pkudei, to the Perek Mem, it's even shorter, and you don't have any repetition. Okay, Vilbashta, it's 1 time sound. It sounds like 1 time. And when you go to what Aharon did, so he just brought all the kelim, all the vessels of the Mishkan. He didn't coronate Aharon, okay? He just waited till Parashat Shmini. So let's go back to Parashat Shmini. And from here, it's not clear as well. You have another pasuk that you might say that it was 7 times, okay? But not clear. ויעש ממנו 7 פעמים, וימשך את המזבח וכולי וכולי. Let's go, וישחט, ויקח את כל החלב וכולי וכולי וכולי. ויתן על כפי הארון, אוקיי, בשלו את הבשר, ומפתח אוהל מועד לא תצאו 7 ימים עד יום מלאת ימים מילואיכם. Is it? כי 7 ימים ימלא את ידכם. כאשר עשה ביום הזה, ציווה השם לעשות לכפר עליכם. Again, it sounds, I agree, that as you did today, do every day of the Kapora. But it might sound as well that you do it for the Kapara, but then you wait 7 days without doing anything. You just wait till ופתח אוהל מועד תשבו יומם ולילה 7 ימים without doing anything till the Kedusha would be chal, and then you will be able to function as a Kohen. So
there are other cases where Tahara takes 7 days. You have to do. You have to watch the 4th day.
in Nida, in Zav,
doing something every 7 days. You just have to begin.
Exactly, בדיוק, דוגמה טובה, נכון, in Zav, in Nida, they טובל במקווה 1 time, and after emergence, they don't make it every day 7 times. So לכאורה, why you have to say that it was differently here? But in any case, I'm not going in this 40 minutes, these 40 minutes to be machria, just to show you that it's very unclear. As I said before, you have a bush, but a tree, you don't exactly know what a tree says, what's going on here. Because I'll just finish with another example. So we saw 2 things. We saw that it's not clear that you do the whole ceremony 7 times or 1 day and wait 7 days. And we saw differences between Chatat that we know on Parashat Vayikra Tzav till this Chatat, and therefore we don't know whether the whole ceremony here is a part of the Korbanot or something different. I would like to end with something very brave that Natziv Mivolozhin says, and that's maybe symbolizes the whole story. ואת כל העדה הקהל אל פתח אוהל מועד. As I mentioned at the beginning of the shiur, if you look at פרשת תצווה and you look at פרשת פקודה, you don't find any קהל doing anything, okay? It's just something mentioned here in the execution, in the ביצוע of everything Moshe was ordered. So some of the מפורשים, some of the modern מפורשים say that for the sanctification of Aharon, you don't need the Eidah, because Moshe Rabbeinu takes them, Moshe Rabbeinu dresses them, and spills mazeh alav tadam, etc. That's a whole process to be coin. You don't need the people watching, the spectators, they don't help anything. But here, ואת כל העדה הקהל אל פתח אוהל מועד, and maybe it's a key for understanding, you don't need it as a part of the sanctification, you need it as a part of the Mishkan. So now we can understand. From the one hand, שמונת ימי המילואים are used as a sanctification of the Kohanim, and they have a way how to do it in Parashat Tetzaveh, a repetition in Parashat Kodeh, and even here. But from the other hand, it's not just that the Kohanim are taken to be sanctified, it's a matter of establishing the Mishkan. And therefore, if we don't do anything here, the Am Yisrael don't do anything. Unlike in the Levim, that Am Yisrael is somechat hayadayim, here Am Yisrael just watches, doesn't do anything. Just spectators, scouts, okay? Nothing לעשות before. And even though, because it's not just the sanctification of the Kohanim, it's from your own side, seeing how the Mikdash getting into its place, therefore maybe you have to see it, to watch it. And therefore we might understand that there are dinim belong to the sanctification of the Kohanim, and maybe for the and maybe Aaron for his own chatat needed the chatat as written in the Parashat Tzav, or the same thing, chatat Kohen Mashiach. But since it's something different, because it's not only used for Aaron himself, but as a representative of Am Yisrael, therefore it changed a little bit. That's one issue. But as I said, the Netziv says something very interesting. Why is it that just here we see a kel and we didn't see it in the former parshas? So the Netziv says something interesting about the whole Torah. A lot of times Moshe was ordered from HaKadosh Baruch Hu in one way, which is the Torah shebichtav, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him a piece of advice or a piece of orders orally, Torah shebe'al peh. And ledorot, we have both of them. We have the Torah shebichtav with the Torah shebe'al peh, how to maintain the Torah shebichtav, how to use it. But Moshe Rabbeinu, says the Netziv, brings bedavka, the Eidah, to watch and to see how he does a lot of things differently than what's written in Parashat Shmot, in Shmot Kaftet and Shmot Mem. As we saw, a lot of things are different. A lot of details are different here in the execution than what he was ordered. So he brings Am Yisrael, learn, you all, the watchers, you learn that not everything that is written is just what I have to do. I have a lot of things that I've learned from HaKadosh Baruch Hu orally. I have Torah shebe'al peh as well. So bechavana, in the execution, Moshe Rabbeinu brings Am Yisrael kulo to see that a lot can, like the Kohen in Yom Kippur that says, יותר ממה שיש כאן, אני קורא לכם, I learn the Torah, but יותר ממה שכתוב כאן יש כאן, okay? Because Moshe Rabbeinu knows a lot of details that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him orally, and he wants to tell Am Yisrael, look how I changed from the order that was given in Parashat Tetzaveh today, and I do it differently because I have Torah shebe'al peh. So again, just to sum up, we started by asking is it the parsha of Yemei HaMiluyim a part of the korbanot or something different? We saw that in many details it's different. We have the akel, we have a different korban chatat, we have different verbs like vayagesh, and if you look well, you'll see that the chatat here is the only chatat that was burnt outside, as Rashi mentions. So you have a lot of differences, but the differences lie on the axis on which you talk. The parsha of the Miluyim from the one side symbolizes the sanctification of the Kohanim, but from the other side, it symbolizes the sanctification of the Mikdash. And therefore, Am Yisrael has his own part in it. And it might be that there were changes between the what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said and the fulfillment, because it's not only for the Kohanim, it's for us, okay? And we saw that the Ibn Ezra and Chazal discussed whether it was the first day or the 8th one. We'll stop here.
So what,
And I owe you, Larry, checking your attempt to combine between the Ibn Ezra and Rashi. Interesting.
okay, the other question is, would other Kohanim Gedolim have to go through what Aaron went through?
No. If no, לכאורה לא, but no, because from the way of sanctifying the Mishkan, so it's one time in the history, and from the way of sanctifying the Kohanim, no, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu says explicitly that from now on, all Shevet HaKohanim will be able to function. Okay, you don't, if it's Elazar or somebody else,
But
you
you
don't
need a new Kohen Gadol.
Pardon?
When the new Kohen Gadol takes over, does he have to do anything special?
It's not. It's a good question, but not related to the parsha. I mean, from the parsha, it doesn't seem like this. It seems that it's one time you sanctify the whole tribe of the Kohanim, including the Kohen Gadol and his sons, etc. And then that's it. You don't have to repeat it. Okay. If you think that maybe yes, it's a question, independent question, but not related to the parsha itself. Maybe you have to repeat, but according to the parsha itself, לכאורה, it's one time. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Shkoyach.
I have a question from last week. Korban Shlamim could be done on Pesach?
Korban
Shlamim.
Shlamim.
Lechem. Chametz.
The Toda
Shlamei
can't.
Chagiga.
Shlamim Chametz. Lechem Chametz.
Of course not, but of course yes, that you can bring shlamim on Pesach. But what you would do with the chametz, I have to check out. I don't.
That's why we have 7 extra days after Pesach to bring korbanot.
I have to check it out. I don't want to mislead you.
No, only the Toda is the Toda only. The Toda has chametz, and so there's no Toda on Pesach.
Right. נכון. The only korban that you bring is Toda. The other one is לא אסור במשכן to bring chametz, נכון. And Toda you stop before Pesach. That's why we don't say Mizmor Toda on Erev Pesach, because there was no Toda, because you are memait the korban from its achila. So yeah, so shlamim you bring with matzot, not all over the year you have matzot. So just 2 korbanot have chametz. One is korban toda, and the other one is shvuos shtei alechem that you bring.
Lechamim chametz, no?
No, just toda.
For toda.
What we saw last week is we discussed toda. And since we were in Parashat Tzav, not in Parashat Vayikra, so the Torah starts the title of Shlamim, Im al Toda yakrivenu. The Torah goes straightly into Korban Toda. Okay, so the main Korban Shlamim, yeah, I got perplexed for one. There is no Korban Bichlal with Chametz, just Korban Toda and Shtei Alechem of Shavuot. That's the 2 only korbanot that you have בכלל חמץ.
ערב טוב.
ערב טוב.